back here at South Beach at Future Proof Miami 2025, and I'm here with Greg Weiss. Great to see my man, Greg Weiss, the Managing Director for Wealth Services at Goldman Sachs Asset Management. First off, we're on the beach. Can't really beat this, right?
This is fantastic. No better conference.
You know, the vibes are great, and it's great talking to people like you. And listen, you guys have quite the lineage at Goldman Sachs. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on with volatility right now. Tariffs, are they on? Are they off? You know, the whole crypto space. Just in a general sense right now, to leave this off, how are you feeling about where we're at? Obviously, you guys are tackling things at such a high way.
Well, Dan, it's clearly uncertainty across the board has increased. From policy uncertainty, macroeconomic uncertainty, geopolitical uncertainty, and it's all resulted in a reduction of consumer and business confidence, and it's softening demand. I read a stat this morning that I thought was profound.
I love stats.
You like that? You like this one. And that is, this is the seventh fastest correction that we've seen on record since 1929. Wow. It's taken just 16 sessions for the S&P 500 to fall like 10%. So at Goldman Sachs in our asset management division, we're just encouraging advisors and clients to stay invested in well-diversified balanced portfolios, be smart around risk, be smart around diversification. In fact, we run a models business that help advisors and their investors. It's ran out of our multi-asset OCIO division that runs the same money for pension clients and over $300 billion globally. How about you? They run about $20 billion for wealth clients. And this morning they did a trade. And the whole point there is to stay diversified. And we're using the volatility to reinforce where we have convictions. So for example, we did three things and we notified thousands of advisories this morning. And number one, that we decided to go lock in some profits with our international because international is like U.S. since the beginning of the year. Second, we are reallocating and reinforcing our overweight to U.S. large cap growth, taking advantage of the current, we'll just give the current pricing points. And then third is we're buying into U.S. investment grades. Because in the middle of the belt and the belly of the curve, we like where the spreads are wide.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's important that people understand that. And you guys have this track record, and just because there's volatility doesn't mean that it's not going to work itself out. But I like your stat about the seventh fastest correction. That's why people need people like you. Now, let's talk about the models and direct indexing business, because that's something I know you guys are really proud of as well.
That's right. So in the model space, and this is a lot of times advisors need time to focus on clients during these market volatilities. We power those advisors with commentary, trade notices to help them service their clients. And we, in fact, become like their augmented CIO. So we work on their behalf in terms of managing the money so that it frees up their time to be with clients. And what's interesting is you find a market volatility like this, the model's business, the activity increases quite meaningfully because advisors tell us that now have an opportunity to get my client into the model that they always wanted to because capital gains are less of an issue today than they were just a few weeks ago. We're direct indexing, same thing. We have a $200 billion direct indexing business, and high net worth clients use the direct indexing, the hallmarks of it during the volatility for periods like this for gaining market exposure and harvesting losses. So right now we have just done, over the past few weeks, tens of thousands of trades to harvest losses for these clients as they maintain their market exposure. And now we're seeing increase in activity in deposits and new accounts for those very reasons. You get the market exposure, stay invested, harvesting losses while you're in.
Doesn't get much better than that, my friend. Now, listen, we're in this volatility period. There's a lot of people that are anxious. What do you think, because obviously you guys have a wealth of knowledge, and obviously so does Goldman Sachs. What do you think the biggest misconception is right now that investors are maybe pulling the trigger on or too anxious about that they need to kind of understand and let things play out from your perspective?
Yeah, we are going back to, we just strongly encourage people to stay invested in a balanced portfolio and don't avoid the temptation to time the market, right?
It's a big temptation.
It's a big temptation, but the time period from de-risking to re-risking is getting so narrow that the opportunity cost is too substantial. So therefore, we're encouraging people to stay invested. And what we see with models, when clients are getting a little bit concerned and taking some on the table, instead of going to cash, they're going from a 70-30 allocation. It's maybe a bit of work investing. So we're just trying to encourage advisors to stay invested.
That's one for you is, obviously we all wish we had a, Doc Brown DeLorean time machine, but 2, 3, 4 years ahead from now, 5 years ahead from now, what's the way you're feeling about how things are being shaped?
Well, we're focusing a lot on both publics and privates. To build a high net worth portfolio, to have someone that pays taxes, like how do you use the hallmarks as direct flight exit? We will offset the tax implications of use of privates. They use it all in one portfolio. So there's a lot of talk at the conference about privates and publics, and we envision like the unlock is going to be is how to help advisors and investors do all that in one portfolio. Just one account, one contract, one proposal. So therefore, it's easier to implement. You eliminate a lot of the operational complexity associated with it. And that's what we're running with the fintech called GeoWealth to make that easier for advisors. So therefore, advisors don't have to deal with the swivel chair complexity of multiple tax documents, proposals. You put it all in one account, and therefore you can build better outcomes, better outcomes.
Greg Weiss, the Managing Director of Wealth Services for Goldman Sachs Asset Management, your incredible high-level experience preceded you. Your reputation definitely preceded you. I really appreciate the time.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Great to see you. It's really conference.